I get it.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Kosa. Nsila ID soto.
That's sorry. I get it.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kono kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wala nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi manin domorol ni fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
ni waka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
Of owning your dream homes, EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tarots, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Hello and welcome to the brunch on Kerr Fatou Live. I'm Nyawuru Komma, and once again you are on board our weekly current affairs here on Kerr Fatou. This week, after registering over 900,000 voters, what next for the Gambia's electoral process and the Independent Electoral Commission? All right, the verdict is given. The mayor of Banjul does not have authority to give attestations to claimants in Banjul. What next after that landmark judgment? Plus, we will be introduced to the newly formed party called Gambia Jama Party when we have the party's founder and leader engage you. We also have another verdict given in the High Court, death penalty passed against former AFPRC junta member Yankuba Toure. All this are the topics in this week's edition of The Brunch. I'm Nyawuru Komma. Once again, welcome, and wherever you are watching us from across the world, you are welcome as I introduced Nyawuru Komma. He is both a regional and national executive member responsible for youth affairs in the United Democratic Party. Marr Nyang, he is a civil society member, and the members of the Gambia participate, one of the group who won that landmark ruling over the registration attestation of Mayor of Banjul. Marr, welcome.
Thank you, Lamin.
And I talk about a new party, a new kid in the block, the Gambia Jama Party, which is formed last week. We have in our studio, we have the honor actually to have the leader of the party, Ebrima Sorreh. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chan.
All right, let me start with Nyawuru. Well, okay, the registration exercise have just ended. 900,000 plus people have been registered. A little bit short of the IEC's target. You and your party have been very busy following and monitoring the process, of course, sometimes causing a lot of headlines from your monitoring. But let me ask you first, do you think all eligible Gambians have had opportunity to be registered in this exercise? Or you believe that the exercise could have been extended, that many more people could have been registered?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cham. I think this is a very good registration process for the next 10 years. And I hope in the laws that they're going to amend again, it is going to be a continuous registration process so that every eligible Gambian who attains the age of 18 can be registered duly, because that is their constitutional right. And like you said, yes, causing a lot of headlines for the right reasons, not for the wrong ones, because what we are doing was a civic duty on a political party. I said it here earlier previously on the brunch, that every political party who is a stakeholder in the electoral process, is not a privilege for you to monitor the process of registration. It is an ardent right for you to do that anywhere in the world, because election starts with a process, and that is the registration. So obviously for the best and the right reasons. That's why UDP, you can see you have 18 political parties, but UDP is concerned, and we will continue to be concerned. That's why we have a monitoring team. And contrary to what people are believing, has never happened. They will never go anywhere, behave otherwise.
They said your party had made it, you made yourself self-appointed police and immigration officers, asking people or classifying them as non-citizens. Is that true?
That is a speculation, or that is a statement that normally people say out of jealousy. Because that team that was going around is filled with experienced politicians. They are Gambians, and even they say people are behaving like police. It is a constitutional right that every good citizen is a policeman. When you see something that is wrong, that is against the constitution, that is the creed that governs us, you tend to stand up if you are a good citizen.
So how do
you are a patriotic one.
How do you?
So you cannot comment others for standing up for the constitution. You want to condemn others because they belong to a political party that is biased. It is irrational. At times, it is very harsh. Because regardless of our political diversity, we are Gambians. And as per constitutional dictate, every good citizen is a policeman. Because when you see crime occurring in a particular place where the police are not, you can stand in their place. Not to at least enforce the law like the police, but at least you can do something to at least about what was going to happen there.
Okay,
so at the end of the day, we were doing our civic rights.
That is where lies the problem. Both you, the political party agents, and the IEC are helpless in the situation, even when you see a total stranger known to you, but because he turned up in an station from a legal authority, the law says, and which I think you people found difficult to obey, that you just keep quiet and take down the details and go to a revising court. Why do you find it difficult to wait for that?
Yeah, you know, we had experiences before. I raised that issue here.
Yeah.
When you talk about revising court, I had the Chief Justice made a statement, you read it on the last time here, that every revising court is going to be supervised by a Class A magistrate. Yes. Yeah. How many first-class magistrates do we have in the country? Nobody can tell you the number of claimants that will be taken to the courts for them to revisit their nationality. So you look at the human resources capital of the Ministry of Justice, whether they will be able to sit over all those cases. So if you see, I think here, I will challenge CSOs. You know, if you have issues with law.
Marr, are you listening?
Yes, CSOs, I'm challenging
Marr
them.
is listening.
If you have issues with issues that are happening in the country, you should not pick and choose the one you will address in court. People have seen it, and the IEC have confirmed that alcalos are willingly and deliberately attesting people who are underage. But I've not seen any CSO organization take up that issue openly, or even take legal actions against those alcalis who are giving attestations deliberately. Instead of people condemning that, we saw the alcalos conviding at the highest office in the land, that is at the State House, being encouraged to do whatever they will be doing and nothing will happen.
Okay.
Those are things that people should condemn. People should come out and say this is not good. That place is a state banter, it's not a political banter. So you cannot just go to the State House, call a group, to try to tell them that you do whatever will be behind you. Whether it's good or bad, that is, you are not even specific.
All right,
You've been speculative in that issue.
Let's continue. I said 900. A little over 900,000 registered. The IEC, they projected 1 million. Are you disappointed that they didn't score this million? And do you still think that there could be people out there who, if the exercise has been extended, might have opportunity to register? Or do you think, in your opinion, generally, everybody who's eligible has been registered?
No, obviously, not everybody who's eligible have been registered. And obviously, the 1 million mark has not been attained. That might be a disappointment on some people's side. But realistically, every Gambian had the opportunity for 44 days.
Yeah.
But this last minute syndrome that we have in our country, we want to do everything in a rush, is a problem here.
Do you know?
When you look at the first 2-3 weeks, during the registration, you go to some centers, you find the officials there, the registration, everybody is sitting idle, they don't even have people to register. The final week, you see everybody rushing. When they find out that this registration center is closed, they want to go to the nearest one to get registered. Why? When you are accorded the opportunity, 44 days, working days, weekends, working days, you were given 44 days to be registered, to empower yourself, to have that franchise, to take part in an election in the country. That is given to you by Section 39 of the Constitution, Chapter 5. So that is an acquired right that nobody should miss by whatever opportunity you have, or you have excuses. Obviously, those people who have not registered one reason or the other, I feel sorry for them.
But you don't believe the IEC to blame for that? The blame is shared by those people who stayed too.
No, maybe the blame can be like on both sides, because some of the registration centers, they will tell you the machines that are there are not enough for the people. Some of them develop technical issues before the machine will be taken back, corrected. Many people get discouraged, and the process of this attestation going up and down, some people cannot even bear the burden coming up and down. So they feel like, at least, let me just stay away from this issue because I'm getting too much of questions all over and there. And basically, they shouldn't have done that. This is your civic right. You should have done it. It is a constitutional right. You should be registered to take part in whatever happens in the country, because that is your voice. That is your power and that is your right. Before we will sit up here also blaming each other after whatever happens later, I should have done this, I should have done that. You were accorded the opportunity and you missed it. Basically, that is it.
All right, let me cross over and spare Mr. Barford and come to Marr Nyang, because you directly touched, you said the conduct of the civic society associations and other people who made it a duty to prove a point when a law is broken here and there. They drag the IEC, the Attorney General, and the Mayor of Banjul to court, asking the courts to rule that the Mayor's office or Mayor has no law under the Constitution to give attestations. The court came out with that verdict, granting their wish that is not lawful. But then, that doesn't stop the fact that people who have been registered through attestation in Banjul, their names remain in the register, because the court said only the revising courts can delete or confirm whether somebody is legible or not. But let me first begin with the ruling. How do you react, Mr. Marr Nyang of the Gambia Participates? Your group, of course, among others, took this matter to court and you successfully had your wish granted. What's your reaction?
I think my reaction to it is that we are seeing the separation of powers being manifested in the work of the judiciary. Number one. Number two, we have cleared, or the court has cleared the air whether this is legal or illegal. I think one of the things that people misconstrue was, why are you taking an individual to court, right? Why not BCC? And first, I would like to make that clarification, because if you know legal proceedings and the one who become a victim of the process, it was not BCC that was giving attestation. It was not BCC that was signing attestation. If it was you, Lamin, who was giving the attestation and the power was conferred to you, the one who conferred the power to you, and you who is exercising the power that you do not have, you will become a respondent to that particular case. So that's the reason why the mayoress was identified as a respondent. But it wasn't only the mayoress, the IEC who conferred the power to her, and then that of the Attorney General, the legal advisor of the government, who also perhaps failed exactly their responsibility by making sure they advise according to the IEC for not taking that particular decision. So this is not the first time that we've been doing strategic litigation. I think we did it in May about the loan scheme that was done, and then this too was done, and then we've received a lot of complaints, like he said, that we are picking and choosing.
Yes, and what do you make of that? Why weren't you concerned about allegations that minors have been registered en masse in Nyamina? Even the IEC said they noticed that to be true.
So I have to make that clear. That is not really true. We are not picking and choosing. I think there are a lot of complaints, people telling us, why not you pursue this to the court? Why not you do A and B and C and D? You understand? So this is not, you have to have a locus on something that you are doing. We also have a locus for the issue of minors being given an attestation, right? But first you go back to the law. Who is giving the attestation? The alcalo, right? What are the criteria to give an attestation to someone else, right? The IEC has to define that to an alcalo. And then the alcalos now are abusing the attestation that they are giving to people. Not only minors, but also probably they might be giving it to non-Gambians. And also important to know that alcalos are now belonging to political party. And then we have seen in other, areas where it has been alleged that an individual who is within a party went to a particular place, to be specific Mandua, and then give a stamp to someone else, which brought up a brouhaha within two communities, which was not right. So these are all issues that we can collect and then take it to the revising court, which is established by, I believe, Section 24 of the Elections Act. And then for the issue, but before going to the revising court, the issue of the attestations, I think there are other issues that people are saying we are disenfranchising the people of Banjul. If
the mayor does not give attestation to Banjulians. Who will give an attestation?
Yes.
Right? So we go back to the law, and the judge has made it clear that the Birth, Death, and Marriage Registration Act of 1886 makes it mandatory for every Banjulians to acquire a birth certificate. In fact, it is a criminal offense for parents to give birth to a child in Banjul if they don't have a birth certificate. So lawmakers are...
Or without a birth certificate.
Yes, or without
you can give birth and then acquire a birth certificate.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yes, most of the time, if you give birth at your private property, you can go to the center that is giving birth certificate and then request for it. So the lawmakers, perhaps when they were making the Elections Act, they made it. Perhaps they know that there is already an existing law that makes it mandatory for Banjulians to acquire a birth certificate. So they class Banjul as under Section 12, Subsection 2E to disqualify Banjulians from having an attestation. So that is already catered within the law, and that was also clear in the judgment. But now, going back to the issue of disenfranchising Banjulians, I think now Banjulians have they're now informed that it's mandatory to have a birth certificate and they cannot get an attestation. So going back to the issue of whether these people will be able to vote or not when their voters card got nullified by the revising court. The question is, under Section 14 of the Elections Act, it gives IEC to do what is called supplementary voter registration to a particular constituency that they believe the registration was not done properly, or they actually give opportunity for others, let's say in this case, for those that have got their voters card nullified, because it is not the fault of those voters, but the fault of the electoral body, who perhaps believe they were doing the right thing.
But there is no provision in the law which says there can be supplementary after the closing of the general register.
I mean, if you look at Section 14 of the
that has to be national again. It cannot be.
No, it is constituency on constituency. So the IEC can it's based on a constituency. Let's say, for example, if a constituency the IEC believes the registration was not done properly.
In the case of Banjul, all three in this matter, because this is three constituencies in Banjul. So you are saying.
So what I mean by constituency here, or let's say an administrative area, if you look at the law, it's not how to call it ambiguous, right? The IEC can do supplementary voter registration to a particular area that they believe needs that particular.
Where there have been irregularities or
exactly.
Or
so that law is already clear on the Elections Act, Section 14, like I said. So the IEC can take that burden because it was. They were the one who actually created this platform, and then now it has been decided that what they have done is not actually right. So they can go back and so that the one that got their attestation, they give a grace period. In fact, the law also says that in a defined period, the IEC can give that period, and then those people who claim to be Banjulians can go back and then request for a birth certificate.
Okay, the thing is, the irony is this. When you want to acquire a birth certificate in Banjul, you need attestation from the BCC or the mayor.
Yeah.
All right? Now, it is this birth certificate that can give you automatically a voter's card. So if the mayor can give birth certificates, all right, and it's birth certificates who are going to give you voter's card. So if you stop from giving attestation directly to voter's card, doesn't that mean that, I mean, the mayor can always, if her intention was to get you a voter's card, she can always attest that you are a citizen when you are not. So it comes to zero again.
So I don't think it is contradictory, because there are two things here.
This one is a shortcut.
Yes, I mean, to
get a voter's card. By attesting, you get a voter's card.
The mayor,
but I still have the powers to approve for you to get a birth certificate, which can give you a voter's card.
So the issue of attestation.
So where did you disable the mayor?
The Section 12, Subsection 2E talks about the CFO and Alcalo attesting that that person is a resident of that particular area, right? The attestation that the mayor is giving to Banjulians is attesting that they were born in Banjul. So there are two different things here.
So
right?
if there are problems with Alcalos, okay, you have just admitted that there are allegations that Alcalo Lu may have given attestations to non-foreigners. If those areas have problems, who can guarantee that the mayor too will not have a problem? So
the reason why I said earlier on that this issue of attestation has been politicized,
it's general,
right? And going forward, our recommendation is to quash that particular section on the Elections Act to make sure that every single Gambian have their national ID, and I said yesterday on one TV that if someone else is going to UK and the passport is costing 3,600, they will do whatever possible to get a passport. But if it comes to elections, you have to sit and wait and then go and collect an attestation, give you they give you a voter's card, you vote, and you are not going to use that voter's card until the next elections. And as a result, you'll be sitting without no national identity card document or any document that will identify you as Gambian. And you are the one that will be going out, beating your chest, and also questioning others' nationality, whether they are Gambians or not.
But don't you think, in the whole scheme of things, the government that has a role to, to enforce and making provisions that everybody find it a need to have an ID card by packing it with a lot of services. For example, right now, if you want to access medicine and you want it cheap, you must have to prove that you are a Gambian. We have seen that system being abused by Senegalese who come here. The minister said, get registered as Gambians and get access to one. So if the government is not interested in making sure that bona fide citizens acquired the national documents, I mean, it will still take us 100 years before people will take the initiative on their own, and especially because it goes with costs.
Yeah.
You look at the irony and the hypocrisy on the side of the governments that has been here on the Jawara, Jammeh, now Barrow. If I want to acquire a birth certificate, or rather, an ID card, I pay $400 or $450. But the voter's card is free. Why?
So this is one of the recommendations that
Why
I gave.
shouldn't I be given a national ID free?
This is one of the recommendations that I gave some time ago, that we are now in a digital world. If you are qualified to have an ID card, automatically the ID card has a unique number. Exactly. That unique number could be used to, register you to become a voter. So come elections, IEC is also going to save themselves all of these millions of dollars that they are spending going to do registration. The moment they sync the data between them and that of the immigration department, anyone that has, we are now having what we call, Google Close Code project that's currently going on. Banjul is already being addressed. So every household have their own unique address. They can mail it. Right? Exactly. Once you have your ID card, they can mail it to you. So once you have your voter's card, it depends on you whether you want to vote or not. But going back, going back, doing the registration, having all these petty issues that are coming up, I think, in this digital world that we are in, this has to be
all this have to be led, as exercise led by government.
Exactly. I think the government really have to take on that. But before you go to
Mr. Bah.
I just also wanted to say one thing that you mentioned regarding the issue of ID card, people paying $400.
Yes.
In Senegal, our neighboring country, even if you are a Senegalese and you lost your document, you have to go to the court to defend that you are a Senegalese before they call it gisma, before they actually give you a document. For us here, it is abuse. You understand? So anybody else can, we are a country that is open and we love non-Gambians, right? Yeah. But when it comes to elections, these are sensitive matters, right? You don't want Gambians to be messing around with other nationals, the elections. Yeah. But when it comes to ours, we should be jealously safeguarding that and then make sure that the fair play is actually enforced.
Did you see in this past exercise any seriousness on the part of the authorities, particularly? Because when we say these things, we said they should be led by government. Did you see any seriousness on the side of the government or any other party, emphasizing the need for foreigners to get out of our registration? Did you see any seriousness? I have not seen any pronouncement from any government official that said categorically that non-foreigners keep away. I haven't heard it.
I haven't come across neither from the government or that of the political parties as well. That
I heard from political.
Well, I haven't come across. I think one of the things that political parties also should be doing. Yesterday, someone else was saying before you go out giving membership card, right? It is first important to educate people to go get their voters card, because it's not they're not going to be voting with their membership card, but the voters card. So that I'm not sure whether, but for us, the civil society, what we have done is going out, educating people to register and vote. But for the issue of whether the government or political parties have done that, personally, I have not come across it.
Okay, time for us to, like I said, the new kid in the block. We have 19 political parties and still counting, I hope. Last week we had news that a new one, Gambia or Jamala Party. Gambia Jama Party. which has been formed. There have been a lot of talk about it. One, Gambia Jama Party, led by Ebrima Sorreh, who used to be, if not the leader, but one of the pillars behind the Gambia for 5 years.
The founder, for that matter.
The founder. And Gambia for 5 years was, well, more or less seen to be pro-government movement, which was set up to counter the so-called 3 years Jotna movement. So, by and large, you have been seen to be pro-government. Why do you suddenly disagree with the NPP, of which you were a surrogate, and decided to form your own party?
Point of correction.
Yes,
and I would want you to withdraw that we have never
been a surrogate
of the NPP under the auspices of Gambia for 5 years.
But you were sympathetic to NPP anyway?
No, not at all. As organization, that is prone to you journalists have always branded us, and you have always managed to keep us to that corner.
You have spoken clearly and very loudly, in a words very sympathetic.
I don't want to talk about Gambia for 5 years because that is out of topic.
Okay, let's talk about Gambia.
Once you have touched it, I will just clarify that Gambia for 5 years and Peace Building was a civil society organization.
You always said
that. No, that has always been the case. I have defended it across 152 platforms, including 7 international ones. I have been here several times. I have been across all media platforms.
Okay.
All right. So the Gambia for 5 years,
an independent
organization that came to defend constitutionality in this country. When 3 years Jotna emerged.
Yeah.
When the difference between the 3 years agreement MOU between the coalition parties of 2016 and the constitution, I mean when they clashed and this country was at the verge of what was prone to chaos, we said we thought it necessary to come out and then form an organization, and then we defended the constitution. That's the 5. So
you were not necessarily defending President.
No, there is no iota of evidence to associate us, because you have never seen us dine with the president.
We have seen government officials now of NPP coming to demonstration.
They are Gambians. No, they were Gambians. They were not only government, but you had other opposition parties. You had other parties coming because they were our partners. If you look at the concept,
sympathetic to President Barrow.
Not necessarily sympathetic. No, not sympathetic. Trying to make sure that we make sure that constitutionally became the order of the day.
So let's move on.
That consumes my time.
Why do you come for Gambia Jama Party? Why?
Good. To start with, I'm a Gambian. It is my constitutional right to partake in the political process, political arena, empowered by the constitution. Like my landed brother just highlighted. He highlighted some provisions, and that is what I made good use of with my people, my executive committee, and those that are on my boat, to constitute a political party of this magnitude, of this nature. That is Gambia Jama Party. Gambia is the name, the country. Jama is an Arabic borrowed word that is used in Mandinka to refer to the population, the people, and Infula or Pular. That is the Gambian Jama Party. That is what we believe Mandinka refers to, but it is an Arabic word actually, and party. So we learned it, we pronounced it, we announced it on Monday, last week Monday, and we feel if you look at the story, the press release that you carried on your front page, the Standard, on the Standard, of course you will see me being the Secretary General and party leader, attributing the reasons of the formation of this party to abnormalities in this country, malgovernance, widespread corruption, and even unconstitutionality.
Under President Barrow?
Under the current regime, yes, under President Barrow. Okay. I gave reasons. I cited samples.
Yes, you did.
I did. It's widely. I have been defending this across. I was on Fatou Network yesterday. I was at the Star FM and various media houses to make sure that, because I have really seen that it is high time that this country, the opposition, comes together and try to think about a mechanism, a formidable mechanism of the opposition. Well, it could be reminiscent of the 2016 alliance.
Okay,
but of course with a difference.
What point you are emphasizing? One of the main
to make sure that the president, the president is voted out on the 4th of December.
So one of the focus, which is very important, not just your party, not just for the usual reasons you want to correct things that are wrong, but you always emphasize that your party has a main focus to encourage and work an alliance among opposition parties.
Because the only way out, because no single party will be able to, it is highly unlikely that a single political party will be able to win, will be able to contest against Barrow with his coalition, the PPP, the NCP, the NRP, and the GPDP. With that coalition, it will be extremely difficult for a single party, single-handedly, all out, to be able to defeat Barrow with the politics of patronage, with the politics of buying allegiance. You saw how flamboyant the party has been. You saw how
when you talk about
and also let me land before because you interrupt you interrupt and also the polarization. I want to be focused here because with the polarization of our traditional and public institutions, such as he rightly mentioned, the Alkalulu, the position of village heads, community heads, and chiefs. We saw them met the president like he highlighted. My brother from the other end, which is highly unconstitutional and a calculated effort to win over support.
You mentioned all this
without
with a degree of confidence.
So
you've seen all these abnormalities. You seem to be talking from experience, even though you deny you were very close to these things. The NPP.
I have been in the Gambia, and I have wrongfully participated in the NPP political council for 1 year, which I regret most. Wrongfully because
you just denied that you were not close to NPP.
No, you were talking, you spoke that I as an individual. That's my passing, the passing of Ebrima Sorreh, not Gambia for 5 years, on the premises of Gambia for 5 years and peace building. I have always come out to tell government what is wrong when it comes to constitutionality and due process. So I am saying I was in the party for the past 1 year, and I resigned from the party, the political council, when I had a row with the party over the selection of the identification of the executive committee, the new executive committee, the transition from the this is a serious revelation. This is the second platform. The transition from the political council to the executive, because that party refused to go to Congress.
Taking swipes at the NPP, okay.
That's the hard part. That is the reality. I was a member of the political council.
Of course, we have tried to get the NPP here. But
let them be here.
But then let's talk about your efforts to unite your opposition. How do you want to go about it?
I want to be part of the process. I'll be talking to some of them.
Has any process like this?
I am going, as we speak, a political party is sitting and waiting. I have an appointment with a political party that I'm finalizing a coalition arrangement with. As we speak, they are waiting for me here in Bijilo. In fact, I should be going into that meeting very soon. And other political party, of course, tomorrow. So I'll be meeting. I intend to meet them one by one, and I intend to talk to them. I want us to put our differences aside and make sure that we come on board and put forward a formidable alliance that is going to defeat the incumbent.
Since you started,
with all it takes.
Since you started this, how far have you gone? What has been the response?
Very positive. So far, so good. And I thank Allah and the Prophet and my Sering, Khadimur Rasul, for giving me the strength and the courage. My Sering, Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba.
What do you make of people who said all these people who are claiming to form political parties are not just serious? Instead, they are even discrediting the whole political scene, kind of making it an amateur business. And then some said maybe you might have been planted by some force, political force.
In fact, that reminds me of something very serious allegation that has been, somebody has been victimized. Are you with me, Lamin? Somebody has been victimized as a result of this. No person other than Lamin Khan. I'm sure he must be following. He must be following this. Lamin Khan of UK, of the United Kingdom, has been singled out, has been accused of having thrown weight behind me or having been part of this. and I want to use this forum, the first forum, because yesterday I forgot at the Star FM to clarify that, to deny that in totality, to say that Lamin Khan has no hand, has no prior information. In fact, he saw it on the news.
Okay.
That he has no hand in the formation of Gambia.
Like
now, I come into your question.
Yeah, what I was saying, a lot of people said, I sure that perhaps people didn't hear me, that many people thought that all these people claiming to be opposition or forming parties are not serious and they are just discrediting the whole political...
I disagree. I mean, we are Gambians. When you have a constitutional right, it will be difficult to question that constitutional right. Okay. If you have, it's not out of privilege. It is a right to partake in the to vote or to be voted for.
Okay.
I mean, if how can we be unserious? How can we be? Yes, it might be the case, but not with us, not with me, not with my party. And I know a lot of genuine parties that are. If you give, I can give you, for example, I can give you.
Okay, I think at this point we have to leave you because you are always busy. You are very busy. Some people are waiting for you.
Yes.
All right. At this point, we have to take. We have to say bye-bye to Ebrima Sorreh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will be back to continue the program after this 5 minutes break. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Agada.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Important. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo katon.
Bari si kodo kino katon nim fo bolon blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kono kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo palindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi man domorol ni fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma fa kendol sotale di.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
barka ba. Ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abarka.
Of owning your dream homes, EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation.
Agada.
Mbijan aganya.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. What's Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariya. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariya.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kono kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi topoto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma nin domorol din fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo nga fa kendol sotale je.
Wo mo yo diat ha.
Apelenta
barka ba. Ni lafta nyelen kendo le bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abarka.
Of owning your dream homes, EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
When we touch down, better broke down.
With Gamtel G Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G Fiber, the future is speed.
Before the break, the new kid on the block, so to speak, the Gambia Jama Party led by Ebrima Sorreh, who was attempting to tell us the reasons for the formation of the party and its efforts to get the opposition coalition together. And that's where we're going to kick off. Nyawuru Komma, what did you even make of the new party? For me, it seems to have, despite whatever you think, lofty ideas. Another attempts to form a coalition. Is it far-fetched or?
It is far-fetched. Mr. Cham, as a country, we should graduate from this type of politics. I think it is high time for us to have responsible politics in this country. Just few months, 4 or 3 at most months before a general or presidential election, you come with an individual who was pro-Barrow. They created.
He said he was not pro-Barrow.
No, they are pro-Barrow. Let's be realistic
He
here.
said
They are pro-Barrow. They are not defending any constitution.
Okay.
After the 5-year, 3-year tussle was over, just recently, you've seen this man on this platform here, Kerr Fatou, with your uncle Buba Gajiko in the political catcher program, defending Barrow to the ground.
He said, he admitted, of course.
No. He said he was part. No, he defended one thing.
Yes.
He said he regretted being part of the political council of the NPP.
Yes.
But what is the platform that they have, that he has to create a political party, if not Barrow for 5 years?
Okay.
That is the platform he starts from. That is where everything starts from. And that is pro-Barrow. We know they always call themselves, and they always hiding behind slogans and behind entities that are not really existing. It was not in defending the constitution of the country.
He said,
if you are to defend the constitution of the country, you should remind Barrow that respect the 3 years MOU. It is in the same constitution that gave them the right, that gave the president the right to resign. It's also constitutional.
Yes.
If you want to defend the constitution, you are always talking about the 5-year mandate, but you're not talking about the president having that access or the chance to resign.
To say that it's not unconstitutional also for the president to leave anytime.
Yes, that also is not unconstitutional. So when you say you are defending the constitution, you have to defend all.
So
not to pick and choose.
What do you make
now,
of,
secondly, this
yes.
Ebrima Sorreh,
yeah.
If he is a sponsored candidate by the incumbent.
He said he is not sponsored by anybody.
You know, we've seen many types of politicians.
But he said he's not sponsored
How
by
can
anybody.
you just from a fortnight ago defending the president? And after a fortnight, you just come to realize that there is massive corruption in this country. The gap between the haves and the have-not is getting wider. People are not having access to basic amenities in this country. That all the political parties we are calling for. Our resentment towards this government is not about an individual, it's about the way they operate, their modus operandi. That was the issue. There was no political party getting at an individual personally. The health system is crumbling. Our economy is in shambles, is not still sustainable.
Let me tell maybe
you know,
he's just
our security, the insecurity in this country is alarming. But recently and just now, Ebrima Sorreh and this Jama party are realizing that all those things, the political parties we are saying is through just suddenly.
Maybe it's just not
what has changed? What has changed
maybe
overnight?
their understanding of things have
should
just
be
changed.
serious. If Ebrima Sorreh is a serious politician, he should know.
I put it to him that
should know he shouldn't start it now. He should be thinking of 2026, not 2021, my friend.
Okay, let me.
How can you even?
Let me try to have
he's claiming that the NPP have not gone through a Congress.
He said,
but he has not even launched. He has not even formed. We've not even had.
He's not even registered yet.
He's not even registered. The names in the executive. So when will he register? When will he launch? When
he before the election.
When should he launch? Register.
Very soon.
Have a Congress to
very soon.
Get into the campaign program.
Very soon.
So we should be very serious about
said,
this.
Is the MPP did not do any Congress.
No. These are issues we know what they do in divide and rule.
I put it to him, the very sponsored by anybody. He said no.
No, nobody will come over and tell you I'm sponsored by AOB.
But do you believe that he's sponsored
I
by
am telling you, we know each other in
but
this
then
country.
No,
the registration for a political party is $1 million.
Yes, you think Ebrima cannot do that, or his backers?
You know, if you have a support from somewhere financially, somebody who's stable and he has the muscles, he should come forward and say because Ebrima cannot afford that on his own. That is the
Let me have an impartial view of that. What do you make of the coming of the Gambia Jama party and the Gambia Jama party and their ideas of trying to work out an opposition coalition?
I think number one is their constitutional mandate for every citizen to come up with a political party based on the ideas and what they wanted to bring forth for a country. Like all the other, maybe now it's about 20 political parties that went ahead and then registered their political parties. It depends on the electorates to get to understand the manifestos and programs of every single candidate or a party and what is it there for them, so they will decide who to vote for. So that will be my take on any political party that comes in.
Okay. Now let's move and talk about the recent. Well, you like we dealt with your action against the attestation of the mayor, but there was a verdict on the case of Koro Sise, former gentleman member Yakuba Ture. been sentenced to death. I mean, the verdict has generated a lot of debates. Well, a lot of people, of course, did not agree with the judge. Others are satisfied that justice has been served. What do you make of it first, as a member of the Civic Society Association, who are very much concerned about the appliance or the application of justice in our country?
I think, yes, we finally have someone else, paying for the price for the heinous action that they have done for a public servant, merely serving his country in the best manner of integrity, being brutally killed for not dancing to the tune of the then government. So I believe I celebrate the verdict. For the issue of others not accepting what the judge has. I mean, we have an independent judiciary, and then when we come up with a new constitution, the opposing party, most of them were saying we are defending the Jammeh laws, and this is one of those laws. And now you are saying no, it shouldn't be. So it's really
like,
interesting.
People just choose what suits
and
them.
then the constitution that was coming was going to be more lenient in terms of this kind of sentencing.
Exactly. Yes.
So the ones that were architect of this constitution are now paying the price.
Are the ones who are now crying foul.
So that comes to when it comes to having national dialogue and constitution regarding a constitution, and it was so disappointing and so frustrating for our parliamentarians to actually throw it away. So I think the justice that have been served, civil society are celebrating it. I think I know Yankuba House family, the family members will be sad. They will miss him, and I put myself in their position, just like the way I put myself in Koro Sis's family's position, especially his mom and dad that has passed away without even getting to know who killed their beautiful son.
Well, at least the mom, probably was here when the TRRC started, when the revelations were made trying to say what happened. But then, what do you make of other people who are saying, of course everybody has a reason, a right to disagree with the judgment, whatever, that perhaps the judge had demonstrated his opposition to, the political group that Yankuba belonged to in many ways. So probably, his decision has been already preconceived before the judgment. Is there any iota of any valid point in that?
I don't think so, and I think if the lawyer of the defendant thinks that is the case, then when they appeal, they should put that in their statement.
Or probably indicated it well before the judgment in the course of the trial to say we think that the judge who is presiding over this thing might have some preconceived mind about our client and his case. He could have indicated that long time, isn't it?
Exactly. I think those are some of the things that they should have brought up and
long time ago.
Object from the beginning. But after the judgment has been done, it's the High Court, and then they have the Court of Appeal to appeal
it.
So
that's the only course of action.
Yes. So I think if they have any objection or they are not satisfied with the judgment, there is a Court of Appeal which is also independent to look at their appeal and then give a verdict on that.
Because he's a political personality, naturally it's expected that people will politicize the verdict. But you and other people, like you said, believe justice has been served. But do you think if Yankuba had taken a different route, for example, accepted to talk about the issue at the TRRC, he probably wouldn't have been in this place, because some of his colleagues who are in fact named, alleged to be principal actors in the murder, are still walking free? And I mean, the only difference between them is that they testified at the TRRC, he did not.
So transitional justice is very sensitive, and I think when you have a truth-seeking process, the truth being established also promotes healing of the direct and indirect victims. So hadn't been he was if he comes, Gambians are very nice, right? Compared to other countries, they are nice, but the niceness of Gambia is low power.
It's next to naivety.
Yeah. So if he has come out and then testify and admit what he has done, right? At least the truth is now established, and the family, I mean, we have a very religious community, right?
Yeah.
They will, and we have seen that at the TRC, where victims come in and then forgiving perpetrators for doing what they have done to their, family members.
Yeah.
So I think he has failed in a sense that even if the constitutional immunity that he was claiming, this is about building up a progressive society after coming from kleptocracy, brutal human rights violation for the past 22 decades that you participated in. Your colleagues came in, some accepted, some did not accept, but at least the truth have been told. So that alone could have been a sort of a soft justice, or soft, not justice, but soft healing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And it will also build towards reconciliation. So once you tell the truth and you forgive, or ask for forgiveness for what you have done, the families could have forgive you. And then we reconcile and then move forward. And we've seen that in other countries where transitional justice becomes successful, and then the people reconcile, the society become more progressive, and they are looking more progressive. Their thinking is more progressive than looking at the retroactive justice that they have been seeking and did not get. So I think that he really
made a good point, because like you said, in other areas, what actually happened is that the government, transitional justice, the government set up something special to deal with these issues, and not the ordinary court, we know now. Like if he had accepted to go through the TRC transitional process, say what his alleged roles were, him and others who are working free, probably through the recommendation of TRC, might be to put them through some sort of justice system that would be different from the ordinary courts. So by and large, it's true to say that because Yankuba, flatly denied to, or allegedly took the commission at contempt, that's probably led to his present ordeal.
And then he also made a recommendation that you can use all the legal tools at your disposal. So it was like a consensus between him and the government. You accuse me of this, I'm not going to testify. You have the law, let the law take its precedence. So the law has now taken its precedence.
So
and
he probably was very distinct. What do you talk about? I mean, the government saw his actions as very provocative.
I think really, if I was his advisor or any legal advisor, this is not about. He has constitutional immunity as he claimed. But that at the court, the Supreme Court has made it clear that you cannot invoke your constitutional immunity for a murder case that you are alleged to be part of. So I think if I was him, even if he believed that he was not part of those murderers who murdered Korosise, I would have gone to the TRC and then defended my case that I did not murder the deceased. I did not take part of the disease. When they cross-examine you and they realize that yes, you are not part of it, then the verdict would have been so.
His legal miscalculations he did was, one, he thought perhaps by the mere fact that there existed an immunity clause, he thought he was protected from even talking about his role, whether he denying or accepting. He thought that he's protected, and therefore he chose just to stay like that and don't comply. I think that's one thing that happened to him.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when it comes to TJ, especially TJ mechanisms that have been established to ensure that justice is served, because the family of Korosise have been mourning their son's death, and natural death actually takes a lot from your family members, except compared to a murder case, not only murdering but then also burning the body of the deceased. That alone, the news, even if you get the news as a family member, you try to process it in your mind. It brings a lot of psychological trauma to you. So I believe in coming out, and I think as if I was him, I would have actually come and then give the testimony, looking at the family of the Korosise who have been yearning for this, to actually give the reality, whether he was part of it. The others that have been considered serial killers came and they testified, right?
So now, if you look at it now, I mean, he was we're still analyzing what could have led to his decision not to testify. He was part of the junta alongside Sanat Sabali, alongside Edward Singade. Whether you believe their story or not, they came and testified. I believe that's where he got it wrong. probably if he had testified, he wouldn't have been in this ordeal. We have to accept that.
And the family of Korosise will, I'm not trying to preempt or try to read their mind, but this is how many, perhaps including the family of Korosise, will, look at the scenario that, look, I kill your son and I don't care. I'm not going to talk about it. I have constitutional immunity that protect me for the evil doing that I have done, and I don't care. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to tell you how this happened. And he walk away. That's how citizens and the family of Korosise perhaps will view this. Exactly. So that alone will catapult anger. Within
there was a lot of anger on the day, of
exactly.
course.
And that very day, people, even those that are not part of Korosise's family,
they all
those
got angry.
who do not even know Korosise, we are very angry and protesting because they wanted the truth. Look at the case of Sana Sabali, right? How people were really, boiling their hatred against him. But after testimony, and this is what I said, Gambians are very nice. Regardless, in other countries, they will say he must face justice, right? But Gambia, and that's what transitional justice seeks to establish: reconciliation.
Exactly.
Let's let the truth be told. Yes, let the truth be told. What to do next. Let the truth be told. Let's reconcile and then move forward. If the truth is not told, we are not going to. Just like in the Balkans, the Yugoslavia war that has happened, there's still no transitional justice mechanism that will ensure that the justice has happened. The president that was elected, I believe, in 2001 or 2003, that was working towards making sure there is transitional justice mechanism. He was killed. So any effort to bring in TJ,
to bring in
disqualified. The perpetrator disqualified. So I think in Gambia, in our case, I really feel for the family of Korosise, and I also right now could imagine the family of Yankuba Toure, how they must have been feeling. But it's a very sensitive situation, and I don't think I will go further than what I have commented on that.
Now, okay, don't be political. In your, perception, what do you make of all, the different interpretations of the verdict? Did Yankuba is Yankuba guilty as charged?
Obviously, it has to take that political scope. I'm not trying to be political about the verdict, but in the first place, the issue that got Yankuba into this mess was political. He got advices from his party militants that don't testify, don't say whatever. So we are celebrating that you have constitutional immunity. I think that is ignorance of the law causes all this. I'm being too proud. Not want to conceive. At least I've done something that is not good against a Gambian or the Gambian people. Let me come forth like others have done. And you didn't even contribute more to that change and that illegal process of uprooting a legally elected government in this country, committing treason is another issue. You partake in that. People who actually at least draw the map for you to be part of that show came and testified. And maybe they've done more than what you've done.
Well,
but just having that pride in you, stopping you from at least according the commissioners that day and the lead counsel, the due respect. To at least say something. We were defiant in the most brutal way, saying I will not testify. And the word he used, like he has just said, use what you have, I use what I have. They use what they have, and now he's in a big mess. Who is to be blamed? Yankuba and Co. Period.
Well, let me come back to you. Let's now talk about what can be done about him. There are a lot of political issues such as, he could be pardoned by the president, or he could, what we'll know, of course, the president has prerogative powers to pardon people, but it has to go through a process. And I'm not sure, as hot as it may be right now, President Barrow will even contemplate, somebody even saying, as soon as Tobaski. What do you make of that? Serious matter stuff that I can't see that happening. But
based on the performance of politicians across this region, our politicians are not to be trusted. And I can trust our politicians for the evidences that we have from the beginning until where we are. So many promises have been failed, and so I think that would be a big shock to Gambians, and the family, especially the family of Korosise,
and those who
for someone that has been found guilty of brutally murdering an innocent citizen and public servant of the country. Just the president wakes up and then forgive the person because of political ambition, because we are moving towards December elections, and there have been rumors of coalition talk between the two camps. So I don't think the president is smart enough to make that decision, because this is a public interest case in the first. It's not about APRC or
it's about the murder of the president. And you know what? I saw somebody actually attacking the president personally. The president's recent interview mentioned the case, and he's accusing the president of preempting the verdict. It might be pure coincidence, but the president himself found himself caught up, among people, who would not normally have, beef with him over this matter.
If it was in the previous regime, I would have said yes, but the current judiciary that we have, I'm not sure the president does.
The president was asked about things, like TRRC, which are open there, and he expressed shock about the killing cases like Kerr. Coincidentally, the verdict came, and these friends of the Kerr, Yankuba, one of them said, "Well, maybe the president was preempted," but I thought it was pure coincidence.
Yeah, I think it was coincidental, and I think the president was trying to take, the credit for making sure that we have
justice is served.
We
so
have
on
an
the
independent.
contrary, if anybody expected the president to come and squash the verdict for political reasons, you will be disappointed, because only a few weeks ago he was talking about how serious the Kerr case was.
You cannot be disappointed. You can never.
But that would be direct interference.
I'm saying you can never underestimate what Barrow can do the next minute. You know why? You're talking about this issue of pardoning or somebody for having a heinous crime committed against an individual of Koro Sise, who served in one of the most sensitive positions during those days when all Gambians were running from the junta. But you've seen the need for him to serve his country. He came from studies. Everybody was running for greener pastures. He said he will come because as a patriotic citizen, he will take up that responsibility. And he was doing fine, regardless of the junta. Koro was doing his job as expected. They want to micromanage the guy. They want him to say things that are not in accordance with the ethics of his profession as the chief financial officer of the government.
That's what we were
told. And they decided to murder him. Now, if you are saying it can be possible, but are you not forgetting that Duduja said on the media that they are in talks with Barrow, and right now 7 of their vehicles have been given back to them. How? Because those vehicles, as per what I understand, was seized by the Jana Commission. They were impounded, they were seized by the Jana Commission, and the accounts were freezed by the Jana Commission. What mandates does the president have as per act that created the Jana Commission?
Well, Dudu said he is not sure whether they came from the president or the government. So
he said, those cars are going for maintenance.
Yes,
if they are brand new cars,
he said in the newspaper.
If they are brand new pickups, Hilux from whatever, we might be thinking of the source or the funding. But now you're not talking about brand new cars. You're talking about the old cars. This is going for maintenance. So that means that it has already qualified that the same vehicles have been seized. What one mandate does the president have to defreeze accounts and to give vehicles? Are we going back to the same old age of dictatorship that the president just come up with a directive or a decree to do whatever?
Still with this topic, what do you think should now happen to alleged accomplices or even masterminds, alleged like the Singate brothers, Edward Singate and Peter Singate, who've been alleged to actually be masterminds? Because even the witness on whose evidence, the judge actually leaned on heavily to arrive at this conviction, said that actually it was the Singate brothers who really took the greatest part, including himself and then Yankuba. What should happen now to the Singate brothers? They are out of the country, of course, but then Alaji Kanyi is here the witness. Is he going to continue to be protected as a state witness against this happen, or should the Singate brothers now not be allowed to come to the Gambia and be let go scot-free? Should they be automatically arrested after this verdict? What do you think?
I think we should look forward to the TRRC's report and recommendations regarding that particular case and all the other cases that has happened. What is the verdict and the recommendations that they would recommend for the government to take? So that will be my comment on that. But I think if this kind of issues happen and an established commission, which we believe is independent, has done their investigation and preparing their recommendations, the case of Yankuba is a bit unique regarding the fact that it is comprises a lot of issues that catapult this situation, which could have been avoided. So I think I would not like to preempt anything, because transitional justice is very sensitive, and I try to be very much careful of the things that I say. But to give my value on that is, let's wait what the TRC recommends. If at all we are still not, which I believe will not perhaps happen because of the independence of the TRS and the effectiveness of the work that they have done. If the TRC brings in recommendations and the government fails to implement those just recommendations, then we need to start going back and then hold the government accountable. Just like how they also failed to to implement the Janneh Commission recommendations, which was selective in terms of the implementing such recommendations. So I think the government should be very careful, especially with the TRC recommendation, because this is something that Gambians have been waiting for more than 2 decades. Absolutely. The truth has been told, there has been recommendations, act on them. If not, we are not going to have a reconciled society, and we are going to be shouting, doing all sort of negative stuff that we could have prevented. So to move forward, I believe those recommendations should be implemented.
And that report is expected before the 30th, when the TRRC is wrapping up. So President Barrow actually have a big job in his hand dealing with the TRRC report. There's a lot of speculation. Should he throw it away? Should he actually serious with it? Because everything Gambian now is politicized. So, but you is suggesting that President Barrow really has a big job in his hands dealing with the TRC report, because this transitional justice.
The issue is this one is different from the Janneh Commission. It is just like, this is natural justice in our homes, in our lives.
But he still has the discretion as the president to say, okay, I've seen these recommendations, but I think this is different.
I think you have to read the act thoroughly to understand that the act that established this TRRC and that of the Janneh Commission have certain differences.
All the same, the president has the powers to say, well, I think I have changed these recommendations. We think this is the way things
I'm coming. I'm saying natural justice here. Like us, we all live in our houses, we all Gambians, but naturally, if somebody happens to waste your resources personally at a personal level, you tend to forgo and forgive, like that Gambian nature of maslaha business.
Exactly.
But when somebody kills your brother,
that's where
it's difficult
for
you to forgive deliberately. You know that somebody kills my brother. So this is the natural justice I'm talking about. People will tend to even forget about the misappropriation, the financial mismanagement people did, because we can recover from that. We have a room to recover from that. But when somebody kills your loved one,
that's a problem.
You don't have anywhere to recover Koro again. There will be no Koro again. There's only one Koro. They kill him brutally, and they charge his remains. So that is the hard side. It is very demeaning, it is heinous, it's unforgettable, and it is very hard for the family to accommodate and forgive. If you want to have a forgiving society, you must first establish social justice, that the truth shall stand, and you can have reconciliation. Through that, you will have a healed nation. Without those things, you cannot heal the nation. And in 100 years, without those things, we cannot develop as a nation. So that is one thing no serious government will come and play with. And the Yankoba issue and those other people who were conspirators or the architects of those or of that particular heinous crime is they at least accepted to come and explain their own version.
Whether you
it
believe
is
them
true or not. That is for the commissioners and the commission to establish that they've not seen. It's just like a court case. You bring up your case, the prosecution have to prosecute, the defendants will have to defend their case. But it's the guy who is judging, who is to give the verdict, who will be listening to both sides and know that this guy is not saying the truth, that other one is right. So now that will be left in the report that will be given to the Gambian people or to the president before only 30 years as TRRC wraps up. So there are different two things.
Right.
Definitely.
Good. And that's where, of course, we're going to wrap up this afternoon's edition. We are disappointed a little bit. We didn't have Dudu Jah of the APRC, and we couldn't get NPP people also.
I want to highlight one issue here pertaining to the attestation issue.
We didn't hear you on that, about the court decision.
Yeah, you didn't hear me on that.
You disagree with that?
Issue, I even have an issue with the entire attestation process.
Well,
as per constitutional dictate, me have not seen any provision in under the citizenship chapter that the attestation can even give somebody citizenship.
No, but
wait, I'm coming. It's baffling. In the electoral laws, in the Constitution, Section 39, every eligible Gambian that attains the age of 18 in his or her full mind and senses should have the right, franchise, to register and vote in elections and in referendums. It's an attestation mentioned as per creed to qualify one as a citizen. Even these attestations, issuing people attestations to acquire voters card, is it legal? It is birth. No.
There are
birth certificates.
Yeah.
There are birth certificates that are given through attestations.
Yes.
But attestations given to people to directly acquire voters card without even birth certificate.
That is what the electoral law
question.
says.
That lacuna. The law is quite on that.
No,
and I will always blame the Ministry of Justice and our lawmakers. This Rohimalik law issue, we discussed it earlier here, is the lawmakers and the government of the Gambia that drag it. Because when somebody has a doubt, the people who are supposed to advise the government on law and issues concerning legal issues in this country are the MOJ, Ministry of Justice. When they went to the National Assembly, he said, we don't have an alkali or a CFO in Banjul, I'm the mayor. Who should be giving attestation? They were quiet. The Minister of Justice representative were there. You had Omar Sise said it here, National Assembly.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Who should be giving? If nobody is giving, I will give. And if the IEC advise, so there's that misinformation in the whole process that should not even have gone that far.
That is why people
with the
like
intervention of the Ministry of Justice.
Well, that's why Ministry of Justice was part of the people's shoe.
But the same thing you said here is still puzzling.
Okay.
You know why it is puzzling?
Yeah.
This attestation issue has many small issues within it that makes it very complicated.
I think overall what he said, according to the
attestation issue I'm coming to.
should not by now be anywhere part of our system.
I think I concur with him. Earlier, in our episode we had here at the brunch, that was what I was saying. I said every Gambian, regardless of where are you, now in the manner in which this attestation argument and the rate is abnormal, because I expect everybody, whether you are born in Mansakonko or in Basse, to be registered wherever you born in, so that you can have, because everybody registers in Arabic school or in this English schools, and when you go for registration, you are expected to have a birth certificate to be registered. Suddenly everybody is acquiring the voters card through attestation. How? And yet still, they still have one side to go. That is the revising court. But what he is saying also is important. Yet still, the guy who is not giving the powers legally to give attestation for direct giving out of voters card can still attest to people's birth certificate, and still they will be eligible to have voters card. So I think all this thing is messy, and it's all caused by our bad laws. That he said, the National Assembly members, let's repeat that. We have a document that was progressive. It was not 100%, but it's far better than the 1997 Constitution. But as for personal interest, they throw it away in the dustbin, even at the second reading, not allowing it go to the plenary and the committee level. Those people celebrating it that day are the people crying foul because of the 1997 Constitution has sentenced somebody to death by hanging. And that man is always quoting a code pursuant to section this and that. You cannot deceive.
So we come to square one.
Are still coming up still now. So I think that's why in the Gambia, patriotism, integrity should
and
be
that's where we will end it. Nyawuru Komma of the UDP National and Regional Youth Department. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on the issues. And of course, Marr Nyang of the Gambia participates, whose group won the case against the IEC, mayor, and government on the attestation on Banjul registration. Thank you very much. And earlier we had the Gambia Jama Party.
The Gambia Baro Jama Party.
There you go. Sorry, Ba, who's been telling us about his party and their objectives. We will have more time to explore all these issues in the coming editions of the brunch here on Kerr Fatou Live. Goodbye for now.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel, Yaibaram.
For all your pastry, bakery, and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings, and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European, and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe, and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.